So yeah, so that's my if you go look on your page, D Marsha. Because yeah, so I did work at Mandeville Regional Hospital for 4 years. So that was my first nursing job. I have no regrets regarding it. I did got a lot of experience there. As I say, it's a teaching hospital, so you have a lot of interns, you have a lot of students there, and the patient count is just the same like any other hospital. We saw just about all cases, you understand. I did end up in the emergency room because that's always my love. When I started nursing, I always had an interest in emergency room nursing, and so I did experience a little bit of a pediatrics. My first time on the pediatric floor wasn't like the best because when you hear them little tiny cries, they never really like it. It was like, it wasn't really a NICU, but it was like, yeah, it's something similar to a NICU. We never really call it a NICU. But that was it. Those little tiny tots, neonates, just born or whatever. That was my first experience. I did like it. Did that for probably like 9 months. And then I went on to the bigger pediatric unit and did a few more months. Then I did like, medicine, surgical, a little bit of a gynae. Never like it. Not like woman chocho. Not my area. But, and then I went into emergency room because that's where I wanted to hang out. That was my love. And so, yeah, I did that. Malgally or somewhere in Manchester. Okay, Malgally is in Manchester. Yeah, it's in Manchester. So it was a pretty decent experience there. As I say, most of the hospitals in Jamaica, if you're a nurse, you're going to experience just about everything there because it's not like the States here where you have active ambulance services. In Jamaica, we don't have active ambulance services there like that. We have ambulance services at the hospital. Sometimes it looks like a little bus. Yeah, a little bus with the little light on top, and it make a little wee wah sound, but it don't really all the time look like a regular ambulance that you see here in the States here. But we do have 1 and 2 of those at the hospital that does like transport between different hospitals. But in terms of active 911, 119 number, no, we don't have that. You understand? Most of the time the patients are being transported by passerby, friends, family members to the hospital, or because of the or police officers, depending on what was happening. We have no ambulance services in Jamaica. Well, we have private ambulance services in Kingston, and some of those major hospitals, they kind of partner with them. But yeah, and if you go to one of those, I think they have the Spanish hospital in, I think it was like, I don't remember if it is in Montego Bay, I don't remember the name of it, where, yeah, if you have your money, you good up money and all them stuff here, you can always go there. And I think they have a helipad there as well. So depending on how big your insurance is, and if you're in Jamaica and you have an emergency, then they can always fly you back out to wherever. It's Mobe, yes. I don't remember the name of it, but I passed there. But I hear that they have MRI machines, CT scans, everything, you name it, you can get it done there. But then, as I say, it's gonna cost you some money, but it's there if you definitely want to get the treatment there. But for the majority of the hospitals, I hear that not Mandeville Regional, but I hear that, oh Jesus, yes, private hospital, 100,000 for transport. I think probably they're quoting some of these. I don't know if that is equivalent to whatever US dollars, but I know definitely it's going to be very expensive based on what they do over there. You understand? So, but for the public hospitals, we don't really have like CT scan machines at all of the public hospitals, because I know the Mandeville hospital I was working at, we never had that. But in not Montego Bay, I know at KPH, I think they do have a MRI machine there, I think, or CT scan. I think it's a CT scan machine. I think they do have a CT scan machine there, and probably a question mark beside an MRI machine, because that's one of the major hospitals in Jamaica. So a lot of times when we were working with, in the hospital at Mandeville or at the hospital, if we had patients who needed a CT scan, it was more of family members would have to go ahead and pay for the test. So if you have a stroke patient, family members would have to come up with those money. If it's a case where, everywhere you go, it's always dependent on the age, underlying conditions, all of those things that is happening with the patient. You have the hospital will still go ahead and pay for some of those services. So if it's a dire emergency, so not saying that if you show up, you're going to be getting a CT scan or you're not going to get one. It depends on the case. You understand? It depends on the situation. Then they will definitely go ahead and get you over to that CT scan machine, which is usually across the road. So they partner with different facilities to get the CT scan done under emergency situation. So if you're a young person met in an accident, you need a CT scan done, and they feel as though that the outcome is going to be good, they will go ahead, get you on the ambulance and go over there. And as I say, everything everywhere in life is the same thing here in the US. It's not different. It's no different in Jamaica. All right, it's the same thing here in the US. When it comes on to certain testing, and depending on where you go, they will decide, okay, then whether or not you will benefit from it. It's the same thing in Jamaica. So sometimes, if they don't have the machine to do the X-ray, then they will definitely send you over to the other facility that is across the road that does X-rays for the hospital, and they'll do that under emergency situation. Not really a emergency, but the CT scans are usually under emergency situation, and then they'll get it back. You won't pay any money for that, for anything that is like a dire emergency, and the hospital sends you to get the testing done, because it's a dire emergency. It's a real emergency. But not saying that your strokes are not dire emergency or real, but sometimes depending on the age group and the deficits and all of those things that are going on, you can't really send out 10, 15, patients to get all of those done, when sometimes the prognosis doesn't even really, look 100. But they try to facilitate, because as I say, a lot of times you have inpatients as well that need to go over there and get testing done. So it's just, a case-by-case basis for them. But yeah, so that's just it. But I did, get a lot of experience, and yeah. And when you're doing the program in Jamaica, we're trained using the international standards. So even though, yes, the resources weren't there, you were trained as if the resources were there. You were trained to take care of a stroke patient as how a stroke patient is supposed to be taken care of anywhere in the world. It's just that, yes, you might not have the TPA, we might not have an activation for a stroke, we might not have a CT scan machine, but you are trained with the knowledge that these are the signs of, and this is how you go about with treating, this is how you go about with monitoring the patients for stroke, heart attack, but it's just that a lot of times the resources are not there. And that is just something that the government definitely needs to work on for the hospitals there, or for the Jamaican people, because yeah, that's just it. The situation just bad down there for them. Yeah. Thank you, Kaslaw, for tuning in. Heart of Hearts, thank you so much. Yeah, but I did enjoy my experience in Jamaica. And they do send you, the hospitals will send you, so they try to prepare you as much as they possibly can, because a lot of times we don't have the ambulance service and all of them stuff there. So they still send you to do like, mass casualty certification. So in the event that, a lot of times it's a mass casualty case down there, honestly, because I've been in the emergency room sometimes when you have like gunshot wounds, like you have a shootout, two different gangs decide that, okay, then they decide to do something, whatever it is, and so you just find out that bodies are just rolling in, but you don't get a call. You understand? You only hear that, oh, there is something going on. And so as the nurses in the emergency room, what you have to do, you have to be prepared. And so I think with that mentality, when I got here to the state, I feel as though I'm kind of over prepared, because if you're not getting a call from anybody, you're just hearing one or two words that there is something going on. Only Kingston the government focus on. Definitely. You might hear that, oh, there is something going on, and you just be like, okay, then but you don't know how many persons. You don't hear about what cases. You just hear that, oh, they might be coming to the hospital. So you just have to go ahead and start clear out patients. You understand? Sometimes you don't have any place to put any patient. I remember like we had one I don't remember if it was a holiday, but there was some pew incident going on. You understand? Everybody just decided that they're gonna go behind each other's back and just aim for the head. And that was just it. So we only see cars rolling in with persons in the back of vehicle. And who was actually able to come inside, you know, to be resuscitated. We had to put them on the floor because we literally had nowhere to put them. We never really had a heads up to say, okay, then it is like 6 persons coming in. You just have to go down there on the floor, putting in your IV, resuscitating patient. Who needs chest compression? You're doing it on the floor. Which patient, you know, is lying in a bed? You have to go and tell them nicely that, excuse me, ma'am, I'm sorry, but this is just the situation right now. A lot of times the patients do understand. You understand? It's not right, but we don't have anywhere else to go. You understand? You have to take them out and put them in a wheelchair, or not even a wheelchair, because a lot of times we don't really have wheelchairs like that. Because if you have 10 wheelchair, you can put 10 persons in a wheelchair, because what about the emergencies that are coming in? Because as I say, you don't get a call, you don't have an ambulance service, you don't have anything to say that, okay, then this is what is going on. You understand? You just know that you show up for work, and you always, in the back of your mind, you're always be like, okay, then you have 10 patients. Out of the 10 patients, 2 patients can stay in the bed, and the other 8 patients can go in a wheelchair and sit. That's just how you have to be doing. You're always just thinking. You understand? You're always just thinking about what is showing up. Because this minute you might be there and hear that, oh, there's a bus that overturned. All of that busload of persons going to actually get transported to the hospital, because it was like the major hospital in that area that was servicing, like, you know, 3 parishes, or what you'd consider to be quote unquote kind of state or towns. Yeah, something like that. So you'll realize that a lot of times that was just a situation. You never really get a heads up to say, okay, then this is what is going on. You have a busload with this amount of persons that turn over, and who is showing up to the hospital. It's just that when they do show up, you just have to go ahead and take care of them. And then just imagine you're in a department that has 4 or 5 nurses. 4 or 5 nurses seeing how many patients for the day. Sometimes you probably end up seeing 200 patients for the day. You understand? You're running around because you have one person in triage with about 50 person or 100 person out there when you're starting your shift. You understand? And you have to go out there and kind of just be eyeballing to see, okay, then who needs to come in now, who can stay out there. But it's a good thing that a lot of times, you know, the patients tend to understand that the emergency room is for emergency room. It's more like a trauma center. So if you come with a little cough, I mean, I'm going to really say little because I'm not going to be disrespectful, but if you feel as though your emergency is a cough, a corn on the toe, you know that more than likely you're not going to get through. You understand? Because you have other persons that are showing up who are having their heart attack, their chest pain, you know, you have your stab wound, your gunshot wound, all of those things that are showing up to the hospital that overrides your emergency at that time. So when you go out there as a triage nurse, you have to be like eyeballing the entire waiting area, because a lot of times it's so difficult for you to get into what we call a primary care provider or get into the comprehensive clinic, because comprehensive clinic already close off with how many patients they're seeing for the day. You understand? So they decide to show up down to the hospital, and then they're there for like hours upon hours waiting. But sometimes you don't have anywhere to put them. But the patients are still coming in. And as I say, you're not getting a call from any ambulance service. You're not getting a call from anybody, because when the phone do ring, if you do hear it, because it's so busy, if you do hear it, it's not like you have somebody sitting down at the desk to say, okay, then I'm the secretary for the department, you know, so let me answer the phone. And somebody's going to be like, okay, then we have this going on. No, you don't have that. You understand? You don't have that. It's just the 5 nurses running around in the department, taking care of those patients that are coming in, and plus you have your observation area. So it's a lot of work. You realize that those nurses in the emergency have to do to deal with. You make me feel like buying a ticket. Where you want to buy a ticket? I'm gonna Avacanda. So it's just the situation down there. But you know, it's just the reality of nurses, or what the healthcare system is like in Jamaica. and depending on where you go. But as I say, the hospital that I'm talking about is like one of the major hospitals. So can you imagine other hospitals that are like a type C hospital, you know, in those little area? They might not have everything there. You understand? Where I can go get, oh, okay, totally understand. You understand? That's just it. But a lot of times that's just the situation for a lot of patients there, and for the nurses. You understand? A lot of time that's just the situation. But we only can do what we can do. You understand? We only can do what we can do. Sometimes you might hear persons say that they're there for hours. They're there for like 8 hours. When you say that you're there for 4 hours, we say, in our mind, we say, that is no time. You understand? 4 hours is no waiting time. But really and truly, you have persons who are there for 8 hours sometimes. And it depends on the day. It depends on the time of day as well. But these hospitals are always like just busy, non-stop. Patients are just coming in. You don't have nobody putting in any IV. You understand? You don't have anybody putting any IV for you on the way to the hospital. Because you don't have an EMS. You don't have paramedics. We don't have like say techs like that to go ahead and put in IVs when the patients do come. It's the 5 nurses on a really good day that you have as staff in the emergency room that are having to do everything that I'm listing out. You understand? We have what we call like a PCA. I think it was like a PCA, ward assistant kind. And I visit St. Anne's Hospital, and I'm not lying, it's not fit for animals. I keep on hearing that about St. Anne's Hospital. I've never really, you know, worked there, but I tend to hear a lot of people talking about their experience there. But we don't have any like, you know, PCA, CNAs, that kind of thing, LPNs. We do have, we have the PCA, but they are usually responsible for making sure the patients are being fed, you know, meeting the patient's hygienic needs and all, and transporting patients to procedures. But when you do have one, like literally one, or sometimes on a good day, you might have 2, and then you hear that, oh, they're going to have to pull that 1 or 2 from the emergency room to go to the floor because the patients on the floor are a little bit heavier. It's just you and the 4 other nurses there. And you have to go ahead and be doing your chest, you know, your CPR. You have to do your IVs. You still have to medicate. And plus, you still have those tons of dockets that you have to chart in. It's not a case where you're using computer to chart. We're talking about writing on paper. Writing, admitting, transporting, all of those things. Everything you have to document on paper. So it's a lot of work for the nurses there. Yeah. Yeah, so as I say, you know, the nurses are just having to be thinking about the what ifs a lot of times when they're at work, because that's just the situation. That's just the reality for a lot of us when we're working as a nurse there in the department. Sometimes we'll have like, you know, a transporter. Why me run away? Why you run away? So I ran away because, you know, why I left Jamaica. So when I started working as a nurse, I think somebody that gonna make money. I was gonna make money, but I had student loan at the time to be paying. And my student loan at that time when I graduated was $60,000. My base salary at the time, I think, was like $68,000. So you can do the maths. You understand? That means I need to go back to my house, my yard, because there was no money left. So I did end up saving like my uniform allowance, and I did save. I wasn't paying my student loan like consistently, like the amount that I needed to be paying, but I tried to keep my account, you know, active. So I was paying like say $10,000 when I get my student, when I get like an allowance for my uniform, I would pay a little bit there, but I was kind of saving my money towards getting my certification as an emergency room nurse, because I knew at the time if you were like permanent or if you were certified, you could actually get more money, or you could get into being a permanent nurse. So at that time I was a temporary permanent. So a lot of nurses in Jamaica are like temporary permanent because there are not enough permanent position for nurses. So you start out in that position, but you will realize that that permanent position is nowhere close to you getting one, because at the time they had, let's just say, 50 permanent position. And just imagine you have nurses who were there before you who are working for 10 years, 15 years, and they're still temporary permanent. You don't have no luck, you understand? So at the time, I decided that I was going to go back to school and get the emergency room nursing certification, thinking that I would get some more money. I did get a little bit more money, but it still wasn't enough to be paying my full tuition. And so during the time when I was doing my program, I heard about, you know, nurses being recruited overseas. And so I was like, okay, then no problem. When I got back to Mandeville, I realized that everybody basically signed up for a recruiting company. So what I did was, you know, at that time, people are talk, but them not really talk straight. And especially when it comes down to money and all them stuff, you're migrating, you have people don't really share that much information. So I kind of overheard the conversation because at that time, I was basically almost new in the department. So I don't really have no friend like that yet. So I had just completed my emergency room program, got back to Mandeville. And at that time, I kind of hear people whispering that, oh, they have signed up with a recruiting company. We could have only hear one part of the name of the company that they signed up with, and they weren't really giving much information. So I go online the night and just kind of start research on anything that sound like, look like, spell like that name, and then I did find one, and I spoke with another young lady in the department, and that's how we kind of became friends. And she said, yes, that's the name of it. But me already send out because me couldn't sleep the night because I'm tell you, everybody was just talking about this recruiting company that they had already signed up with. And so what I did was go ahead and just send in the application the night, and then they called me. So that's how I ended up leaving. But yeah, it was mostly because I had my student loan. And if you understand the student loan in Jamaica, you had to get guarantors. And those guarantors, if you're not paying your student loan, then the government come and take them house, them land, them car, and everything else that belongs to them because you are delinquent. And I never wanted that embarrassment. Me not like embarrassment. So me try to stay away from that. And so I just kept my account active and try to see how I can actually figure out life. Let's just say. So that came, I took it because I never wanted it to seem like, in my mind, I was like, okay, then if the ship is gonna sink, I'm going to be sinking with that ship as well. But me alone not going to leave down there. That's how me did I look at it. You understand? It can't be a case where the entire department has signed up for a recruiting company. And me alone, I go say, oh, me not follow them, you know. Me going to stand out. No. I decided that I was going to jump on, follow them. And whether or not they go is the same thing going to go for me. You understand? And so said, so done. At the time, I think probably I was, so even though they had signed up from before, I think I was a part of the batch, the first batch, because me I tell you, say, me feel as though me need late. I was so late with everything because they had started their process because they went to like a big meeting in Kingston and all them things there. So remember, I wasn't in the department at the time. I was in Kingston doing my program, and then when I got back, and I hear about this little whisper thing going on, me just jump on a full, you know. I just went straight ahead with doing everything. So as soon as the company say, okay, then you need this, as soon as just do it and get the information over, then realize that probably I was the only person in the department that had sent off like all my documentations for, you know, the processing. And so I was like way ahead because I thought I was behind. And so that was it. I'm late, but would you say everything is better financially? No. Financially here in the States or in Jamaica with nurses? Because in Jamaica, like, nurses are actually being compensated a little bit better based on what I hear. You hear that nurses are not really wanting to pick up overtime again. Because when I was there, I'd have to be picking up, like, you know, a few shifts. You have to be picking up a lot of shifts to actually be making a decent amount of money. But no, you have nurses who are, their base salary is so much better that they don't even look on overtime anymore. They have to be begging them for overtime. And at that time, you couldn't even buy a car. You understand? Because when you're thinking about a car payment, you're thinking about a car. It is like probably like $40,000 and all. So in the States, I'm managing your bills here in Jamaica. Yes, definitely. I did pay off my student loan, and that was it. As Matilda say, when I got here, that was the first thing me say. Definitely, because we don't want no embarrassment and all. So I was able to go ahead and just make sure that, you know, that is something that I take care of, because really and truly, we never really have, like, say, that much bills, except that student loan. But definitely, I'm there. And so then I get here and say, all right, then I'm gonna go back to school and, you know, try to make sure that, you know, I kind of take myself out of certain situations. So definitely, that's just it. But in terms of, you know, the pay and all, you know, $1 is $1. But either way, you still make more money here. But in Jamaica, I hear that you can actually use your base salary and still make a good amount of money and get a car. You can rent a house. You can get a house in like, you know, what do they call it again? Mortgage. Yeah, you can get a mortgage and everything. So it seems as though things are a little bit better there for a lot of nurses. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Definitely. I definitely avocado. You say please. What? You know, sound right. It doesn't sound right at all for nurses there in Jamaica. That's what I have an interview with a nurse from KPH. I am supposed to, you know, put it on my channel here. And to it's still there. Lord of mercy. I did spoke with a nurse from KPH, and it seems as though things are a little bit better. So that's why I was saying that. I don't know what the base salary is for nurses in Jamaica right now, but it sounded as though things were a little bit better, because she said that the base salary, she's able to get a car and basically survive. So I guess I probably needed to ask if she was paying mortgage as well, you know, and all. But she said that someday she don't need to be working any shift. So that's why I was saying that. Because of it, doctors get 300,000 a month. Yeah, but doctors make 300,000 a month from before that. Some doctors make $300,000 a month before that. Because in the time when I was there in before 2016, when I left, there was like one doctor who, I don't know how him end up leaving him pay stub in one of the doctor's room, in one of the drawers. So we were looking for some dockets and we saw it and we were like, whoa, we never knew that this is what doctors were making. You understand? So definitely they were making a lot of money from then. Yeah, so hand to mouth for all of we, yeah, man. Paid my bills and trying to enjoy the $13 we live. Oh my word, yeah, totally understand that. Totally understand. Dr. Make all exactly, Moyat. Exactly. They are making a lot of money. They are making a lot of money. So that's just it. It's just the nurses. I think me said some nurses must get more than that, man. My salary after tax is $287. I'm sure doctors definitely are make more than that, because as I said before 2016 they were making one doctor was making, the base was like 300 and something thousand. You understand? And that never have overtime. So that's why we sit down and we just say, how is this even possible when we are here struggling? You understand? We're doing all of these things, struggling with the little salary that them give us. You understand? When you really look at it and them say, okay, then I'm gonna give you an extra $10,000 or $15,000 for an extra $10,000 or $15,000 for you because you're working in the emergency room. You know, them high stress extra money that them give you. Yeah, they were paying that, and then they were paying you $15,000. Was it 15? I think it was like $15,000 or $20,000 if you were certified. And that's how your money was able to go up to probably like almost $90,000 as a nurse. And plus you have to go now and be working those overtime. Nurses are making over 300,000. What? Lord of mercy. Boy, take time with me there. Well, I used to do it. Okay. Whoa, I never know that nurses are making so much. Well, that's good. I'm happy for them though. I am so happy. I was helping like crazy with her bills. Oh my word. But you have to be careful, you know, avocado, because some of them will only sit down and eat out, you know. So you have to be careful. Well, you say her bills. Okay, well, I don't know, but definitely you have to, I don't know, yeah, man. But that was just it. But I'm happy that nurses are making, even if they're making over $200,000 as base, me feel good. I feel so good for them, because I'm telling you, they are working, they are doing a lot. They are working, they're doing a lot down there. So they need to be compensated a little bit better. At that, them tell you. She moved to Turks and Caicos now. Okay. Yeah, but definitely, I'm so happy about, you know, where the nursing salary. I know it can be a little bit better, but I know it can be a little bit better for nurses, but yeah, if they're making $200,000 a month, that is good. That is good. That is a plus. Because I tell you, at the time, you had a lot of nurses who were working. They were working real hard, you know, working real hard to get a little house up. You understand? Working real hard to get a little car. Because a lot of us were walking foot. A lot of us were walking foot. I mean, I hate it. Because, yes, you look nice in your white uniform. You look so... Okay, no problem, Marcia. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy your night as well. A lot of nurses were working, and they were working long hours, so much days a week. You understand? They were walking to work. Me never like the idea. Me never like the idea because we were seen as professionals. You understand? You were seen as professionals. You were, but at the end of the day, me never like the idea that you have to go take a bus and crush up in your white uniform and then, you know, never like it. Didn't like it. So 10K US and no a month now. Definitely. And if you can actually, and the night shifts, definitely when you look at the differentials and all. But if you're a nurse here and you are from like, you know, an international nurse, I know when I just started here, some places were telling you that they don't recognize the international experience. So I tell persons in one of my videos on YT. So go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page because I do share a lot of information regarding my transition experience. And as I go along, I just talk about things that I think will benefit a lot of international nurses. But go ahead and make sure you save your first, you know, your job offer. Make sure you have your job offer so they can know exactly when you started working. And then when you resign your company, go ahead and keep that resignation letter because that will kind of give them an idea that you started in 2010 and you finish in 2016. Just make sure that they sign the resignation letter, stamp it, put whatever they want to put on it, and you just have it as a part of your record. Because some facilities, I realize when I moved here in the state, is it Texas? I don't remember. Oh no, that was in Maine. When I finished my contract, my travel contract, and I wanted to get a full-time job, they were like, oh no, we don't recognize your international years of experience. So even though I had like 6 years of nursing experience at that time, they want to start me as an entry-level nurse. I'm like, no, you take me up as a regular big nurse. So how is it that no, I'm transitioning from a, you know, international nurse signing on full-time with you and you want to start paying me at, you know, entry-level nurse? So go ahead. I was able to use that as my proof to say I started working this time and this time, so they were able to go ahead and compensate me for that time period. But definitely keep a track of those information so you can always use it as a guide, you know, or reference to getting more money, let's just say. Because if not, they will find ways and means of paying you like, you know, the bare minimum. Yeah. But we're more quality. I'm not gonna say anything avocado. I'm not gonna say anything, but definitely the quality. And a lot of places you'll go, if you realize you have a lot of nurses, a lot of Caribbean nurses who are in management, you know, and you'll hear people talk about it. The quality of the work that they're doing, they're putting out is exceptional. So definitely, I know, you know, but I don't really want to say anything too much on it because, you know. But yeah, we're quality workers being produced in the Caribbean. Yeah. All right, remember to go ahead and double tap the live. Can you guys take me to 12,000, please? I wanted to be a nurse, but not anymore. Wouldn't want to do that now at 40. Totally understand that. But you still have persons who are enrolling. Thank you so much for tapping the screen and for that, Rose. Ziz. Thank you, Avocanda. But yeah, definitely, you know, you just have to know if it is gonna make sense for you. I see a lady doing nursing and she's like, what, 58 or something like that, and I asked her like, all right, no problem, Dimarsha, enjoy your night as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I had to ask her if she think it's gonna worth it, because nursing program is what, 4 years, and if you're 58, you're only gonna have what? You're spending how many years in nursing program? You understand? You're not gonna have that much time to be working as a nurse. So unless you have a ton of money and you just want to say that, okay, I have done this in my time, then may understand that. But you have to look at certain things. Me not let money go down the drain like that. That's all. I've been teaching for the last 12 years. Late bloomer, definitely. Definitely. But you know, some persons, I guess they never had it, or they weren't able to do it at that time. So they just feel as though even if they're 59, they're gonna go ahead and still do it, and then graduate and then retire or something like that. But yeah, that's just it. But yeah, I have no regrets about doing nursing. You know, I have no regrets about doing nursing one bit. I enjoy every aspect of it. And even though, you know, I'm doing house call service, a service that a lot of persons, you know, definitely wouldn't want to do. I'm not giving up on Jamaica. I am definitely not giving up on Jamaica. Sometimes I hear about the rates that they're giving or they're doing in Jamaica, and I feel as though I would want to go back down there and do some, I don't know. I don't want to be doing bedside nursing though. I think I would go back to precepting. I did stuff before that, always changing. Yeah, I think I would go back and do precepting and just kind of help with grooming some of those nurses, you know, down there. But definitely, I haven't given up on Jamaica. Home is where the heart is, and that's where I'm going back, you know. I love America here, but yeah, the vibes, yeah, it's a little bit different. I love Jamaica. The only thing is, as I say, it's more of the healthcare system. That's my only concern. If you're supposed to have a certain emergency, you know, the outcome is just going to be a little bit, the prognosis is going to be very poor, and that's just it. Okay, well, inbox me then, Avoconda. Inbox me. Yeah, because a part of my channel is to help with, I want to do like a charity. That's a part of my program or my plans for my YT page. Because when I was doing my nursing program as well, I used to go to like the nursing home or either 2 or 3 homes down in Jamaica. And I said, when I reach there, I want to kind of just try to help a little bit with giving back. So that's a part of my program on YT as well. So go over and subscribe and be a part of it, because I want to capture some of these nurses who have left, you know, and some of them love over here and they're doing well, you know, for themselves. And some not planning on going back to Jamaica, but I'm just thinking that if they hear about ways that they can at least try to just give back, either through like a little wellness check day, something, you know, and we do it across the country and we try to donate 1 and 2 things. That is what I'm interested in, and that's a part of my channel. So definitely, I haven't given up on them, because I have plans for them as well. There is a hospital in Mobi, Hospen, it's American. Yes, that's the one I was taught. Yeah, it is expensive. Yeah, Hospiten or something like that. We were talking about it the other day. Other than that, I'm scared to get sick. Definitely, I totally understand. I've had experiences, not personally, but you know, with situations like that, and it just, yeah, it was just not a good experience. And yeah, I don't know, the system just need a big shake up, you understand, for the best. The system needs like a lot of work. There's so much that we need to get done in the system there, because Jamaica is a really good place. Regardless of what people say, it is a very, you know, good place to live. You know, crime is there, but just like every other place, you might have 1 and 2 crimes going down there, just that it's so small, you know, kind of get highlighted a little bit more. But it's a great place to live, and I just feel as though if we had the resources in our healthcare system there, a lot of persons, I know a lot of nurses now gonna leave Jamaica, because if you talk to a lot of nurses over here, they're not enjoying nursing anymore. You know, and sometimes you probably say, oh, it's because you can't go to work late. It's not a matter of saying you can't go to work late. It's like healthcare here in America, it's more of a business. You understand? It's more of a business. You don't get a chance to get to know your patient. You don't get a chance to, you don't get a chance to get to know your patient. It's more of you just running. You do one and two things. It's a time. It's like you're timed every time you go in there. You understand? So you're not really taking care of the patient like that. You just go in there and you just say that, oh yeah, you have, this is what is going on with you. You don't even get a chance to explore and see what is going on. Otherwise, that might be contributing to. You understand? You don't get a chance to bond with your patient. And you realize that a lot of person, them not like it anymore. Because that's how I was feeling at one point. And that's why I say, you know what, me don't want to do no more emergency room nursing. I love it. I love the drive that comes with it. But me hate it feel, when we go in a room or something like that. By the time you look at here, they say, oh, the patient is here for 30 minutes. Like, okay then. Like, the patient have other needs that needs to be addressed as well. You understand? I hate that kind of mentality that, you're rushing things or you're doing things according to time. Yes, time is very important, but at the end of the day, there are other things that are contributing to the patient why they are in, certain situation. You don't get a chance to, look at the patient as a whole. Let's just say you're just focusing on one aspect of the patient. I mean, I really like it. So you realize a lot of persons, they are losing, the love for nursing. They're losing the love for nursing because they're not able to do, certain things again that they usually do. So I just feel as though if we had the resources in Jamaica, a lot of nurses wouldn't be leaving again. You understand? Especially with these rates that they have down there, the salary that they're paying. Yeah, man. The American system would be, lacking a few Jamaican nurses. Definitely. Because a lot of persons would be staying down there. Because I know currently you have some companies that went out and was doing recruiting. And since they've done the, what do I call it again? Since they've done, do some changes to see how they can try to retain nurses in Jamaica, some persons are not coming to America again. They're not interested in working in America. They prefer to just stay down there. And it's not necessarily, I don't think they really want to stay there with the resources, but they're able to survive a little bit. So they're just going to be staying there. You understand? Because a lot of persons tend to come over here and after a while they just lose their touch, their love for nursing, because of everything that they're exposed to. So yeah. Stacy Brown, thank you so much for tuning in. And Josky, thank you for tuning in. For all the other persons who are here, thank you for tuning in. Rico. Yeah, so that's just it. But otherwise, yeah, it's a nice place to be. And that's just it. But the resources when it comes on to healthcare is lacking, and that's it. So I just hope they figure it out. Just hope they figure it out before it's too late. But me know definitely that's where I'm going back. Fly high or fly low. That's where I'm gonna be going back. Like every day. I haven't acclimatized myself to American system yet. I'm gonna reach there yet, and I've been here what? Almost 10 years? Not 10 years, probably 9 years. I still miss Jamaica every single day. Every single day. If you ask me to go on a plane tomorrow, I'll probably go on the plane and go home. You understand? And that's just it. And it's not like, I love America because there are opportunities here. And if there is anybody out there and they get the opportunity, take it. You understand? But at the end of the day, it's more like, you just get up every day, just work, you go back home. And you have people just dictate and I tell you, say, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, And nothing is wrong with that, but it's a little bit different. It's like you're walking on, what they call it again? You're walking on charcoal? Chalk line. What I'm saying that we have? Yeah, it's like every day you get up, you go to work and you have to be careful how you say things. You understand? You have to be careful how you say things. How you say things, how you write things. It's like just too much. You can't smile too much. Can't be too serious. You can't be too jovial. You can't be nothing. You understand? It's like they want you to be just in a little shell. And they just tell you jump and you just jump. I'm living here and I'm a US citizen, still young. Okay. Yeah. That's just it. You understand? But the opportunities are here and anybody can take it. If you get it, take it. You run with it and you make the best out of it. But at the end of the day, Lottie says, hi, Stacy. Nice seeing you. Where do I know you from, Lottie? Latoya, how are you doing? Oh my word, I haven't seen you in ages. This is one of my batchmates. Thank you so much for tuning in. I was talking about NCU days earlier. Oh my word. Yeah, nice seeing you. Yeah, but you know, that's just it with the American system here. There's so much opportunities here. Tanisha, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tanisha was one of my neighbors when I was growing up, and we used to use the little phone and climb the tree. If you have missed that story, I'm definitely going to post that video on YT and my Think Nursing channel. So go over there and watch the entire live, and you hear about my story growing up. If you've missed out, all right? I talk about, you know, running down the hill to use the toilet and making charcoal and all of them fancy stuff there from back in the days that I had experienced. So definitely go ahead and check out and subscribe to the page as well, all right? And then from there, but yeah, but America here, you know, the opportunities are here. When you want your certifications, they're here. People will send you left, right, and center to go and do certifications. So take the opportunity, and that's what I did. Like, if they say, okay, then you need this, just go take it, because a lot of times these are free courses, you understand? And sometimes they will send you and you probably end up paying a little money out of pocket. Go ahead and take the opportunity. If they say, okay, they're going to send you to do this procedure course, ultrasound, you know, guided IV course or whatever it is, just run and take it. You understand? Because at the end of the day, you're just building on your skill. I just feel as though when we leave this place, we have all of these skills to go back to Jamaica and just implement, train other persons so they can be a little bit more proficient or a little bit more competent at what they're doing. Because I've learned a lot since I've been here. When you talk about some of the guidelines, or, you know, when you talk about getting like your trauma activations going, talk about your stroke activations, at least me have the knowledge, you understand? I have the knowledge, and I can definitely go back to Jamaica and say, okay then, even though we might not have, you know, everything on hand, this is what we can do to make things a little bit better. And so I just feel as though, you know, if you come over here and get the opportunity to take every single one of them, you understand, take it and see how you can implement and make a change or make an impact somewhere. If you're not making an impact here in the States or wherever you're at, you know, hopefully one day you'll be able to make it back in Jamaica, and you make an impact, you make a mark. And that's just it. All right, so yeah. But it has been good so far. It has been good. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. Who's this? Use Nimota. So where are you at now, Lottie? If you're still on the live here. Because a lot of my folks, you know, I haven't seen them since graduation. Like, I probably see them on Facebook. Oh, you're in Maryland. Okay, how is it there in Maryland? You like it? A lot of them, I haven't seen them since, like, you know, graduation. You probably talk with them on Facebook by saying hi, and, you know, but we haven't really linked up. And that was what I saw the other day, that I was like saying to myself, oh my word, I don't have I don't see where my high school was doing anything like, you know, batch of whatever. You know, they have like some little link up. I don't really see that. And it was the same thing for my university. So, yeah. But it's nice seeing you though. Yeah, so that's just it. But my experience and everything has been good since I've been here. And I am doing house call service, and I am enjoying it. Go there and try to make a, you know, an impact. Try to go there and see what I can do for some of these patients, because the population is a little bit different. You know, it's not a little bit, it's so much different than, you know, what I am accustomed to in Jamaica. You understand? It is so much different from what I'm accustomed to in Jamaica. The conditions might be the same. When I tell you to the patients, the presentation is just a little bit different a lot of times, you know, for these patients. I am in Texas. Okay, Tanisha, nice. I'm not going down this year. I'm not going down this year. Probably next year, early next year. But the conditions are the same, but the presentations are totally different. And so a lot of times, you know, when I go in to see patients, that is a surprising part about it. Because when I started working in the emergency room, because I never really had an experience with the home health setting, or, you know, what the homes of some of these patients were, I would normally just see them and then you just come up with your own, like, you know, you just think of it to say, okay, then this is what is happening. Until I actually stepped out of emergency room nursing and going to home health and realized that, no, this is a total different kettle of fish I deal with. You understand? It's totally different from what I was anticipating. Because I am just saying that this is America, this is a first world country, and you know, they have Medicaid, they have Medicare, you have resources on the fingertip and all them things there. And then I just realized that it's like difficult. It's so difficult for a lot of these patients. It is so difficult for a lot of these patients. And so I understand, I've come to understand why a lot of patients are in the situations that they're in. You understand? And it comes back down to, you know, healthcare is a business. If you don't have money, you're dead. And it's the same thing in Jamaica. If you don't have money, basically you're dead too. But me just tell you, say here in the States, it's just a little bit more, you know, it's more of an eye-opener for me, because I was just thinking that the resources are here. Patients' condition are just going to be a little bit better. You know, they have so many resources out there to help persons. But at the end of the day, God bless the amount of people who are actually enrolled or using those services, or even want to try to use those services, because sometimes they will tell you that, oh no, they're not going to give up this for, you know, for that. And so you realize that them situations just get worst. Let's just say, you understand, it just get worst. And so yeah, it's just a little bit different than a lot of things that I am accustomed to in Jamaica, here in house call. But actually, you know, I'm not gonna really say like it. It's okay, because when I go in and see these patients, I try to see, you know, what I can do for them. I try to go above and beyond for them. And even though sometimes I might not go back to some of them hosts, because my tell you say, my stomach is strong, but sometimes you know that's strong. You understand? It's only strong because I am there at the time. You understand? Me go prepared for the worst, and when I do, this is a situation, so me deal with it. You understand? But after that, once me step out and me take my, you know, deep breath, and that's it, me can't, you know, that's strong for me go back a second time. You understand? But I try to see what I can do for that patient. I try to go above and beyond for that patient, and that's it. That's the least I can do for them. That's the least I can do for them a lot of times. And I just feel as though if one or two of what I advocated for them to, you know, to get or ordered for them does come through, then me feel good. You understand? But sometimes the situations are just so past helping. Like it depressing bad. It's so depressing. So I don't know, but it's sad. The other day I went and saw this patient, and I've seen like a lot of things. I've seen the bed bugs, I've seen the lice, I've seen the scabies, and you know, most of the time they're coming to the hospital to you. So when they put you in a room and they say, okay, then this is a scabies patient, then you know definitely you lock off the entire time. You understand? We go ahead and we put up tape when you exit that room, and you don't really go anywhere too far. You understand? Because you don't want to contaminate the entire hospital. So go ahead, not necessarily the hospital, but the department. So we go ahead and tape up those doors so that whatever is inside the room stays in the room until it's time for, you know, it to be fumigate. And I tell you that when that is it when they come to the hospital, but you won't know until you get to their home. You understand? And I went in and I saw this patient. I mean, I tell you, say, me have to kind of just step back. You understand? I had to step back because the lady had a dog, and the dog was just so big. It was like a one room, but I knew that something was off from before. But you know, you don't judge a book by the cover all the time. So I went in, but may I tell you, so me have to kind of tell the lady, say, no, meet me on the patio. You understand? Meet me on the patio. She was like, what? I'm like, yeah, meet me on the patio because I can't stay in here. Cannot stay in here. And you have to tell them the truth some of the time. A lot of times I don't really like to hear it. You understand? But me don't really know how to tell it any other way. Me have to tell you, say, no, me can't see it like that. You understand? So meet me on the patio. You stay on the patio, me stay on the grass. And that's just it. So I can actually hear what you have to say. But this, she was like, yeah, you're the first person to come here. and be not coming in the house. I say, yeah, because you have a lot of things going on here. And that's the thing with me. When I go in to see patients, you know, as I say, I go there prepared. I go well prepared to see my patients. Because may I tell you, so when I just started out and realized the surprise that I am seeing, you know, going into some of these houses, you have to kind of reevaluate your, you know, how you're going to be going in. And that was just it. Like, I had to reevaluate how is it that I'm going to go into these patients' home and take care of them, try to give them the best care as possible, but at the same time, try to, you know, keep myself safe. And she was like, yeah, you're the first person to come here and not want to come inside. I said, yeah, because I see a lot of things going on, so I'm not going to come in. She's like, it's just scabies. I say, yeah, that's it. It's just scabies. I ain't coming in there. So me step back out. Like, you know, I literally just step back out. And that was it. I say, I will just go ahead and order you something, but I'm not doing any, you know, form of blood pressure. I'm not touching it. I'm not doing anything. I'll just go ahead. She said that everybody else come there and, you know, do their thing. I say, well, everybody else is different. You understand? Everybody do their thing differently. But this is me. I'm not going to be putting my items at risk, you know, when I realize that this is a situation. It's just not conducive. So I told her I was gonna call pest control, you know, to come and help her out. And she said, no, I don't need them as yet. I just need to clear up, you know, what is going on. But a lot of times you'll probably be talking with the patients and they don't really understand, like, you know, if you don't fix one problem, the other problem is still going to be there. You can't be trying to fix scabies or bed bugs and the place is still infested with certain things. You have to fix both of them at the same time, or else it's a cycle. It's going to be the same thing over and over, you know. So I just go ahead and order what I can and just put a little X beside that one, because I can't go back there. I can't go back. So I went there one time and I see what the situation is. They have to figure out how to, you know, they have to figure out how to help these patients, the social worker. And as I say, if the patient don't need any, if the patient doesn't want the help, what you can do? You can't do anything. And then yet still they complain that, you know, you're probably not doing anything for them. But if they're refusing things, you can't really do anything much for these patients. You can't do anything. You just have to document that they don't want pest control. They don't want this. They don't want to move out of their house, you know, and that's just it. So good night everyone. Team Music, thank you. Good night. So that's just it. But you go out there and you see, I've seen it all. I've seen like a ton of stuff that I never did thought that, you know. And that's the thing, like, you know, my channel is supposed to kind of bring awareness to certain things, because you have a lot of persons who say, oh yeah, I want to go to house call and be working. You want to go to, you know, be a FNP and you want to work in the clinic and you want to do this, but they have no clue what is out there. You understand? And I just feel as though if I can bring across a certain awareness, some information, something out there, so you can know that, okay, this is what you're going to be going out there to do, you know, I think it's just a good thing for me. You understand? So that's just it. But it's the population out there is a little bit different, and the situations out there are a little bit different. Patients are not always willing to want to change, and sometimes you just have to accept it and move on. You understand? It doesn't make sense you keep on visiting somebody who has a problem and you're trying to help them and they don't want the help. They don't want the help. They will tell you, oh, they don't want this because they're not making any adjustment to their diets. Can't really do anything about that. You understand? You just have to document and document clearly, let's just say, and move on. So yeah. Oh, hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to just double tap your live, touch my nose multiple times. That's what the ladies say. Yeah, touch my nose to give the video a like, and just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. All right, if you haven't subscribed as yet or follow, go ahead and follow me here. I basically talk about everything nursing. All right, the good, the bad, the ugly, and yeah, that's it. And follow me on YT. Subscribe over there as well at ThinkNursing. It's one word, where I share more content Longer form content. I finally just kind of started TikTok here, so I'm still new to it. And it's just a little bit easier for me to go ahead and make content. So a lot of times the content might just seem a little bit longer, but you have to bear in mind that I try to produce content for, yeah. But thank you so much for tuning in. Play a match? I don't know anything about no match. What is this match you're talking about? Okay, but yeah. But if you're a nurse and you're listening in and you want to share your story, and as I say, it's more of like to encourage, educate, bring awareness, inspire person. If you have a nursing story that you definitely feel as though will impact person, then I have a podcast as well that definitely I would love to hear your story. So you can always go ahead and just inbox me. And it's not really like an interview. I want it to be like a sit down, just you being comfortable in your own shell and just sharing your story. And that's it. You understand? I don't really want any, you're kind of pretty it up. No, I want it to be a case where if you want to ball, you ball. If you want to cry, you cry. Them kind of vibes there, definitely. Just go ahead and share your story with me. All right? And you can also share your day in the life of a nurse with me as well, just to bring across, what it is like probably working as a LPN, a CNA, a CRNA, whatever it is in nursing that you would want to share. Go by host to invite someone. It's to complete your goals. Oh, where are my goals? All right, then let's see who I can invite here. So I guess I have a goal for the day. So go to the host, go by the host to invite someone. It's to complete here. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, what's this? Okay, so somebody's on here.
Yeah.
Oh. Good night.
Good night.
How are you doing?
I'm alright.
So what is this goal you're talking about that I need to complete?
Yeah, you have some goals you have to complete for the day, and you receive some rewards.
Yeah, I keep on seeing them sending messages like that. I don't have a clue what I'm talking about.
Alright, you see something up at top side, and where you have the star.
Star. Yeah, must the star with a circle.
Yeah, and you see something side that say complete one live match.
Complete one live match.
Up at the top side of the star. It's a daily thing.
Match weekends. No. Look here, but I want to come on confuse me with TikTok,
But you have to learn. Yeah. You have to
Huh?
learn. You have to learn. That's how you get your viewers.
Oh, okay. All right. So I see match weekends. Sorry,
Right.
folks, I'm still learning here. I just thought, I just come and talk. But I know there are a lot of things that I hear people talking about. I'm going to really understand it, but I just think that I can just come and talk and that would have been it. You understand? I just want you guys to move over to my YT page and just help me out over there and become an active subscriber on my page. But I'm learning TikTok here, so definitely support me and just bear with me as well. All right, so you were saying...
Yeah, where you have the match weekends.
Click on it.
No, you're not gonna choose that one. You're gonna choose the one with not the community fest. You see that one too?
No, I'm just say a star with 0/100. Then match weekends, chat and interview, and then it's a League D5 top 99.
Alright, when you go play the match, you have to go by host, and then you invite somebody,
So what
and
if,
then you ask them if one match. You can just play one match for the day, and you can mute them, and you can talk on your side while they're playing the match same way.
oh, that's what I always see people doing. Okay. So I have to do that every day?
No, you don't have to do it every day. It's a goal you have to complete. So you have to complete the goals them. while you're doing. So now you complete your 80 hour, you complete your 80 minutes of live a while ago. So you have let me look on it for you. You have you have to play one live match, and then you have two.
So this coming
Alright,
like
you see
school.
the goal part where you have the rows.
Rose. I'm not hearing it so well.
Change it to something else.
Which rose?
Where you have the 100 rows.
Oh, beside the star.
Yeah.
So the
So
rose.
you have your gift gallery where you complete the rows already. So you gotta change it to one perfume. So you have to complete that. And then you keep on change it till you complete your gift gallery.
Oh Jesus, Savior.
You
So
have to learn, you have to learn. Same way.
I never say anything. I'm just saying, like, I never know that all of these things I have to be doing. So okay then. But I am not. I see the star, and it's a 0 out of 100 subscription manage. But I'm not.
You can ask person to subscribe to
Okay.
subscribe same way.
So I
Yeah.
see where it says the rose 1 out of 100. Set up new goal. Go ahead and set up new goal.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now you say change it to what?
Perfume. You can change it to any one of the gift them you want.
Okay. Why the perfume you suggested?
No, I'm just because you're still in the gift gallery and you still go want it. So you can change it to anyone you want.
So what about I'm new here? All right, let me see if I find the perfume where you talk about. I'm not hearing you.
You can choose heart me. You see the heart up at top with the plus side of your name?
I say heart me flex. Heart me flex.
Hold on.
So this can only be done in the live. It has to be done on the live.
Yeah, you have to do it on the live. Or you can do it before the live start. You can set it up before the live start.
I see the heart me flex. I can click on the heart me flex.
No. Choose something different. Choose the heart me. Set a heart me. Or you can set a perfume or a hand heart or so your name.
Oh, I see the perfume. Okay. So I see the perfume. So set the perfume.
Yeah, you can set one as
Uh-huh.
the live goal.
Oh, so change it from 50 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So each time you complete it, you change it to a different one.
And then pin it down there. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
then up at top where you have your name, right? You see the name up at top? And you see
Uh-huh.
one little heart with a plus? Or you don't see it on your screen?
Maybe say heart with 8, number 8.
Yeah, so that is the fan club. So each time a person click it, it will come up and say somebody join your fan club. So each time you go live, they might go get notified say you're there live. That are your team, like are your team, your community.
Okay.
So
So the heart.
the more you get, and
Okay.
more people you add to your community.
Okay. So the heart. That are the heart. The heart.
Yeah, but because you have to make your supporters them.
All right. So
It's
people, I
just
need more hearts if you're able to.
it's just one kind to join the fan club.
Okay. All right. So folks, if you have a coin, I would love for you to go ahead and join my fan club. All right. So give me a heart me.
But you have to always remember that each time you go live, each time you go live, you have to